In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, after 11 years of priesthood, I have developed a twofold methodology to help people deal with lust, which is a significant struggle in our modern world. But first, I want to define what lust addiction is and why it happens. So, what is lust addiction? Lust addiction, as most people experience it, is a phenomenon of desire, craving, or almost compulsive behavior, where one engages in watching inappropriate content on the internet, indulging in mental fantasies regarding sexuality, and ultimately succumbing to self-abuse, commonly referred to as masturbation. How does this work, and how does it come about for most people? Most individuals are exposed to pornography or lust-related behaviors at a young age. Initially, it may appear to be just about sexual desire, but in reality, for most men, it becomes a means of coping with the stresses, anxieties, and uncertainties of life. Lust addiction is less about sexuality and more about emotional regulation. People rely on the dopamine rush and the temporary relief that these activities provide to escape negative emotions and intrusive thoughts. It becomes a form of escapism and fantasy. In real life, a person may feel inadequate, struggle with confidence, or have difficulty forming relationships. However, the moment they turn on their computer, they are presented with an illusion, a world where the most attractive individuals appear eager to fulfill their desires. This creates a false sense of empowerment. But once the act is completed, a crushing sense of guilt and humiliation sets in. The reality dawns that these individuals on the screen have no connection to them, and in real life, many men would have no chance with such women. Ultimately, this creates a cycle of addiction and self-loathing. It is a form of self-humiliation where a person repeatedly indulges in a behavior that only makes them feel worse. Recognizing this cycle is essential to breaking free from it. Over the years, I have developed a structured approach to coaching men through this battle. It is not about overcoming lust completely, as temptations will always be present. Instead, it is about learning to fight it every single day with discipline and strategy. Now, in the beginning, breaking free from the grip of lust can be incredibly difficult. The initial battle is the hardest because the brain has been conditioned to seek instant gratification through these behaviors. However, as time goes on, through practice, discipline, and consistent warfare, men can develop the strength to resist. They begin to understand that this is one of the easiest areas for the devil to attack them. Women will always be beautiful. Temptations will always be around. Society will continue to promote immodesty. The key is in controlling how much attention, time, and energy is given to these distractions. It is like a sugar craving. If you constantly consume sugar, your body craves it more. But if you work to remove sugar from your diet, you regain self-control. You can look at a cookie and think, that looks good, but have the discipline to walk away. The first step in fighting this addiction is developing a strong sense of anger toward it. You must have a personal conviction that pornography and fantasy do not define who you are. This is not just about religious beliefs. It is about self-respect. It is about recognizing that these behaviors are weak, unmanly, and degrading. Some men confess these sins as if they are waiting for someone to hold them accountable, but they lack an internal sense of who they are as men. You must cultivate an inner anger against this behavior, recognizing that it is beneath you. The second step is developing a mindset of perfection. Not that you will never face temptation, but that you aim for daily purity. A 24-hour goal of self-control is achievable. When you see a immodestly dressed woman, the temptation may arise. You may even catch yourself taking a second look, but the key is to immediately shut it down and not entertain it further. The more you starve these thoughts, the weaker they become. Lust will always be present, but you must refuse to feed it through fantasy and indulgence. The third step is intensity. Lust is an aggressive force, and passivity will not defeat it. I look to the example of Saint Joseph, the hesychast, who battled temptations of lust for years with absolute intensity. He knew that every day the devil would attack him, and every day he was ready to fight back. If you approach this struggle half-heartedly, you will be taken down easily. You must meet the battle with equal ferocity, recognizing that it is a fight for your soul. Even if you fall, you must get back up immediately and press forward with determination. Now, beyond mindset, there are practical steps to implement. The first is accountability. Many men have found success by having someone to check in with, a mentor, a priest, or a trusted friend. One young man told me that his priest instructed him to call every time he was about to fall. The mere thought of making that call was enough to stop him in his tracks. Accountability must be frequent, not just a confession every few months. I encourage men to check in daily, track their progress, and remain honest about their struggles. The second is prayer and fasting. This is not merely about willpower. We need the grace of the Holy Spirit to strengthen us. Every day must begin and end with prayer. Just like a weightlifter calls for a spotter when a lift is too heavy, we must call on the Holy Spirit for strength when temptations overwhelm us. Remaining sober from lust is a miracle, but it is a miracle achieved through discipline, prayer, and the intervention of God. Lastly, penance is crucial. Men respond to discipline. Knowing there are consequences for falling into sin helps reinforce the need for self-control. The Church Fathers have always emphasized penance, whether it be abstaining from Holy Communion for a period, extra fasting, or increased prayer. Saint Joseph the hesychast compared it to driving a nail out with another nail. When a nail is too deep in the wood, you drive another nail into it to push the first one out. Penance helps us uproot the stronghold of lust from our lives. This, brothers and sisters, is the battle plan for fighting lust. It requires the right mindset, a structured strategy, and unwavering dedication. I pray that these words help you, strengthen you, and guide you toward healing and freedom from this addiction. May God bless you and keep you strong in this fight.